Hey everyone, Sam Evans here, and in today's video I want to share with you why I meditate every morning and how I actually go about meditating. And why I want to share this with you is because meditation has helped me a lot, and it's actually helped me make more money in business. And a lot of you might be thinking, what? Meditation makes you money? How does that work? Because I've tried meditation before and I sat down and did it and I didn't make any money. So, how it really works is, you've got to look at why do people meditate? And really, meditation is all about, focus. And it's really about having, getting rid of that chatter in your head and all of that noise and all of that chaos that's going around in your head. And that's what meditation's all about. It's about being able to clear your mind and really focus and stay on the same task without deviating and things like that until you get it done. And it's about self-control as well. That is the purpose of meditation, right? And so you don't meditate for the sake of meditating. You meditate to achieve the outcome of meditation, which is focus, concentration, clean thinking, and also self-control. And those things, the self-control, the clean thinking, the focus, those things are powerful in business. Because what is business? Well, business is really just finding a market, like a niche of people, finding a problem they share between them, like a widespread problem that exists among participants of a particular niche, then finding a solution to that problem, and then selling that solution to those people. And then doing it as efficiently as you possibly can, and at the largest scale you possibly can. That is business, right? And so, in order to achieve that, you need to be able to think clearly. You also need to have discipline. And you need to be able to focus on things and get them done. And you need to be able to really be relentless in policing your mind and policing yourself from distraction. Because there's so much noise out there. I watch people every day. They go onto their computer, they open up their laptop, and they go on to let's say they go on to Google and they're about to they have some intent. They have this intent I need to solve this problem, or I need to get an answer to this thing. And then they go on to Google and then they see down the bottom, something pops up, right? Like a notification or something. And then their eyes go there and they're oh, they click on that. And then before they know it, they've gotten 8 layers deep into some rabbit hole, probably down some YouTube rabbit hole, probably, down some Facebook rabbit hole, looking at someone's friend's uncle's friend's brother, and their photos. What on earth? And then they end up on some article about something, and then some other thing, and then some conversation, and before they know it, the end of the day is here. So, they started their day at 9 a.m. by opening up that laptop with some intent, some purposeful intent, to solve some problem or find some answer. But they got distracted and their whole day got torn out from underneath them. And now it's 7, 8 o'clock and this person's shit, where did my whole day go? And so they're all right, well, I don't know how that happened, but tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow I will solve this thing. And then they go to sleep, wake up the next morning, open up that laptop with that same intent. They're about to type it into Google, and then boop, little notification, down the rabbit hole again. And this just keeps going. And, you've really got to be extremely self-disciplined, and you've got to be extremely, clear-headed, and you've got to be extremely good at focusing on tasks for a long period of time and, trying to stay focused and not get distracted. And that, in the modern world, that's extremely hard to do because there's so many distractions, there's so many things competing for your attention and competing for your time. And so, because of all of this, right, So where I'm going with all of this is it's hard to focus. And in order to be successful in business, you need to focus. So therefore, anything that can help us focus is going to help us be successful in business. And meditation is one of those things that I've found to be the most instrumental in helping me focus. And so that's my point. You know, most people think, oh, meditation, that's a waste of time. I could be sending emails or doing sales calls or something with that 20 minutes. Yeah, but it doesn't work like that. The act of meditating doesn't make you money. The byproduct of meditating makes you money. And it's not a waste of your time, because that 20 minutes at the start of the day, that acts as a force multiplier for every other hour you have in your day. So let's say you work for 8 hours a day, right? And you might think, well, why would I waste half an hour of meditating when I only have 8 hours? Now I've got like 7.5, right? Doesn't work like that. It acts as a force multiplier. So let's say you have 8 hours and you're meditating for 30 minutes. Those 8 hours will really be multiplied by like 2. So you get like 16 hours. And so the time doesn't change, but your productivity changes. And you get more done, even though you've got less time because some was spent meditating. And this is how it works. And I see people make this mistake all the time. They're like, I don't have enough time to meditate. Meditation gives you more time, even though it takes away some time, because it's a force multiplier. And I see some people say, meditating, I tried it and it didn't work. Or I tried it and I didn't make any money, right? Well, you're not going to make any money from the act of it, but if you meditate consistently for like 30 days, I guarantee you'll see a change. And then the other one was, I tried meditation and it doesn't work. Well, you don't meditate once and then expect some result. Meditation is something you have to do consistently every single day over a long period of time. And so really what you want to do, and this is what I do personally, is I meditate every single morning before work, and I do it for 20 minutes. And so my morning routine looks like this. I wake up at 6:50 in the morning. At 7 o'clock, I'm at the gym. I work out for about 1 hour. And then at 8 a.m., I have a smoothie for breakfast. And then at 8:30 a.m., I have a shower. No, sorry. From 8 a.m., I have my smoothie. And then at about 8:15 a.m., I have my shower and get ready. And then at 8:30 a.m., I start my meditation. And then by 9 a.m., I'm done. And then I'm ready to start my day working at 9 a.m. So before I get started on the work, I've done a workout, had something to eat, and I've gotten ready, had a shower, and I've meditated. And those things really wake you up. They set like the day, they put it in motion. And starting a day after that, you're already going. You've really broken that inertia and you've gained that momentum and things are already flowing and you're able to concentrate well for the rest of the day. And I'd recommend you do the same. It really helps a lot. Plus it's free and it's easy to meditate. So the next question you've probably got is, well, how do you meditate? We know we know the frequency, we know the purpose of why, but how? So I see a lot of people say, well, Sam, what books should I read on meditation? Or what videos should I watch on meditation? Or what apps do I use? Or like what pillow do I buy? And it's pretty funny because you really don't need anything. Meditation, this is all you need. So I just sit on the edge of my chair. And the reason I sit on the edge of my chair is because you don't want to be slouching back. You want to have like a straight spine. And you don't want to be resting against something. So I just sit on the edge of my desk chair here. And then I just put my hands like on the top of my knees like that. And then I just close my eyes and I use my iPhone as a timer. So I turn it on airplane mode because I don't want anyone to call me or anything like that while I'm in the middle of it. So turn your on airplane mode. Then just go to your clock and then a countdown timer, set it for 20 minutes, press start, and then close your eyes. And then all you do is you just breathe in through your nose and then out through your nose. And what you try to do is just focus on your breath right there where it touches like the skin going into your nose, that point on your nostril. and you just try and focus on that. You try to feel the sensation of the breath coming in and then the breath going out, and you just hold your attention on that. Now, you don't try to think about anything. You're not thinking at all. You're trying to think about nothing. And you just do that by focusing on your breath. And what you'll find is that thoughts pop into your mind. And another myth I hear people say about meditation is, I tried to do it, but I just kept having thoughts. And it's like, well, obviously, like no one sits down and meditates and just doesn't ever have a thought. Like, you have something like 70,000 thoughts a day, right? They're very rampant. And most people aren't aware of the thoughts they have, and they drive them crazy. But meditation really helps you become aware of those thought patterns that you've got. And so when you start meditating, don't expect to not have any thoughts. Expect to have a lot of them. But you're going to start to become aware of them, and you're going to get better at policing them and focusing back on your breath. So, like I said, you just sit down, start the timer, breathe in through your nose, out through your nose, and when you have a thought, like what you'll find is you start focusing on your breath, and then within a few seconds, you'll have a thought, and your attention will be carried out over here. And then that's fine. As soon as you catch it and you become aware that you've gone off focus, catch that thought and just bring your attention back to your breath, right? And then you'll be focusing on your breath again, and then you have another thought. And then as soon as you catch it, just bring it back to the breath. And then what you'll find is that, sometimes you have a thought, which then creates another thought, which then creates another thought, which then just creates this entire labyrinth of thought. And it might last for minutes. And then you catch it and you're like, whoa, and then you bring it back to your breath. And that's what meditation is. It's not just sitting there and not having a single thought. That isn't it. Why you're meditating is so that you can get good at catching your thoughts, becoming aware of them, and then bringing your focus back to your breath. Now, why this is powerful is because when you first start doing it, you will find that you can barely focus on your breath for a second before you have a thought, and that you have this entire chain of thoughts before you even become aware of it, catch it, and bring it back. Now, that is your attention span, right? That is, the worse that is, the more you have to gain from meditation. So if you try to meditate and it's excruciatingly hard, then that's good. That means that you have a huge amount to gain from meditation, right? The harder it is for you to do, the more you have to gain from it, because it means that you're basically neurotic, and there's no benefit to being neurotic at all. And so meditation will help calm you down and help make you more self-controlled, more clear-headed, and more aware. And so that's basically it. And, I've been meditating for probably 2 years now, and it's made a huge, profound difference to my life and my business and everything. It's made me a lot more self-aware. It's made me a lot more aware of my thought patterns and all of that. And it's helped me to develop a much better focus when I'm working. And through self-control, focus, and all of that, I've been able to make a lot of money with that and make big advancements in my business. So it's something that's free. It's something that's easy to do, and it's something that adds huge benefit to your life and makes you more money. So really, if you're not doing it, then you're kind of stupid, because it's one of those things that really helps a lot, and there's no excuse for not doing, really. And what you'll find is that, whenever you're working, sometimes the things that make you the most money and add the most value, they're typically long-term, big tasks that take a lot of focused attention, all right? They're these big, gnarly things, these big hills. And most people are really good at just handling small little tasks, like reply to that email, send that message, read this article, make this phone call, or do this little thing. They're good at just doing these small little micro tasks, right? And the problem is with doing those, you just train your mind to be good at small little things that don't really require much focused, deep attention and deep thinking. And so as soon as that person goes to do anything meaningful, like build a product or build something that's going to take, let's say it's going to take, 6 months of work every day for like 9 hours a day, every day for 6 months, right? That's a big task. But if a person who's used to doing these small little tasks goes to try and do that, then it's going to be excruciating for them. They're just going to be like scratching their arms, and they're just going to be thinking of that Facebook app and their Instagram app and going over to YouTube and watching another video. Their mind's going to be looking for the exits. They're going to be in panic mode because it's excruciating for them to sit in one spot and focus on one thing for a period of time longer than like a few minutes, right? And this is the thing that stops most people from succeeding in life. It's their inability to stick to something and see it through to the end when it's a big task. They can do the small little things, but the big ones, that they can't do it. And it's not that that's who they are. It's not that they can't do it. It's just that they've really just gotten themselves hooked on like instant gratification and small little distraction tasks, right? That's what they've gotten them hooked. That's what they've gotten themselves hooked on. And once you get hooked on that stuff and you try to do the other thing, it's really hard. It's excruciatingly hard. And you need to just practice it and practice it and practice it until you can get it done. And then once you can get those sorts of things done, you will dominate in life and in business. And meditation really helps you with that. And what you'll actually start noticing when you start doing some deep focused work and working on some big projects is that it is kind of like meditation itself, because you're working on this thing, fully focused on it, and then you start getting these thoughts. And you start catching the thought and you're like, man, why am I thinking about that? And you just keep focusing on the work. And then you have this other thought and it's over here. And it might be something that, happened when you were 6 years old or something. And you're like, why the hell am I thinking about that? And you bring it back to the work. And then you might have this ping out over here and you're like thinking about getting a haircut or having a snack or, going and doing this thing or looking at this book that's on your bookshelf. You have all of these random thoughts and you just keep bringing your focus back to the work. And so, really meditation is exactly the same in a way as doing deep focused work. And so meditation trains you for that. And then it enables you to really do that. And once you're able to do that, you'll be able to tackle big things, big long-term gnarly things that are going to make a profound difference in your life and in your business. And then, one last thing I'll say about meditation is that, when you're working on these tasks and you're really deep into the work, you'll notice that, you have all of these other thoughts that really take you away. And when you're able to really just pull back and focus on it, each time you do that, like you get better at it and better at it and better at it, and the period of time that you're focusing gets longer and longer and longer. And before long, you'll be able to do an hour without having like a pinging thought out there. And once you're able to do that, once you're able to pretty much like focus on something so intensely that it's kind of like you lose your sense of self. It's like kind of like you go into the computer and you forget that you're even here, like your physical body and everything, and you forget about your surroundings and your environment, and you forget about the time. Time and space just collapse and don't exist. And you're fully in that state. And then all of a sudden you snap out of it and you're like, whoa, what's the time? And all of this time's gone and you've done all of this work and you're like, man, I didn't even have like a single thought during that. It's just like you were flowing. And once you're able to do that for like, let's say an hour straight or 2 hours straight without having a single distraction, that is when you've experienced being in the zone. And once you've experienced being in the zone, your life will change. Because the zone is where like the magic happens. And until you've experienced it, you have no idea what can be done in that place. You know, it's a place that kind of defies the rules of reality, and you can really do some amazing stuff in there. And a lot of athletes talk about the zone, like Kobe Bryant talks about it a lot. And he's got a documentary called Muse, Kobe Bryant Muse. It's really good. And the zone is, you know, your best friend when it comes to business and really anything in life. And you want to be able to get into that place like as fast as possible and with as much like predictability as possible. And then you want to be able to stay in that place for as long as possible and as deeply and as intensely as possible, like every single day. And I remember back to when I was just getting started in business, and honestly, I was like never, ever, ever in the zone, because I was always so like self-conscious and thinking about what other people would think about me, and thinking about, you know, all of this external stuff, and thinking about like, oh, I'm too hot, I'm too cold, I'm too hungry, or I'm tired, I'm all of these things, right? And what you'll notice is there's all of these words like I'm and me. It's all about you and how others perceive you and how you think of yourself and how you're feeling and all of this crap, right? And whenever you've got a lot of this going on in your mind, you are most certainly not in the zone. You know, because whenever you're thinking about that stuff, you're totally just really like self-absorbed, and it's whenever you really care about like yourself and how people perceive you and everything, you're definitely not in the zone. That's a sure sign that you're not in it. But when you forget about all of that and it's like everything just disappears and it's like you're pretty much just standing in like space by yourself and you're not even having any thoughts or cares or anything, you're just deeply in the work, that's the zone. And until you can get in there, you can't really achieve anything great and you can't really do anything that productive because you're too worried. You're too worried about whether it's going to work or not rather than just getting into it and getting it done. And when I first started in business, I could never get in there, ever. And so it was a real uphill battle. And then after a bit of time, I noticed that, you know, I'd work about 5-6 days a week, and I'd noticed that about 1 day a week for a total of about 3 hours, I would just be real focused and get a lot of stuff done for some reason. And I'd noticed that what I got done in that little time frame was more than the equivalent of every other day of the week. And I was like, whoa, what is going on here? How come I can't be consistent with this? How come I can't do this level of productivity all day, every day? And it drove me nuts trying to figure it out. And really what it was like every now and then I'd kind of drop into the zone and get into it. But I hadn't mastered the ability to control it. It would kind of come on and off without me really knowing and being aware of it, and I had no idea how to control it. And it took years and years of practice before I could really just turn it on and turn it off and go into it for long periods of time. And, you know, these days I can really just get into it every day and stay there for 12, 13 hours and get a lot of stuff done. And it's really like having a superpower, honestly, because you can get more stuff done in one day than a lot of people can get done in like a month. No kidding, when you get into this place. And tips to get into that place as quickly as possible: stop drinking alcohol. That's one surefire way to wreck your brain and not be able to get into the zone, because it just fogs you over. It's like it just glazes over your eyes and it just fogs you up and just numbs you up. So get rid of that. The second thing is like cut out sugar, because sugar really makes your brain go nuts. And so if you cut that stuff out, you will find it easier to get into the zone. Third one, stay hydrated. Just drink lots of water. Fourth is sleep. You really need to get sleep. And I've experimented with this. I tried having not much, and it really did not work. It was what I noticed from a lot of my experiments is that sleep is more important than diet and exercise and meditation. Sleep is the most important thing. You need to be getting 8 hours a night at consistent go to bed times and wake up times. And then, you know, exercise helps as well, having a healthy diet, and then meditation. If you do all of those things, you will be able to get into the zone faster, stay in there for longer, and go into deeper levels of concentration. And I only wish someone had told me this back when I was getting started in business, because I was doing none of that. And it was very painful to never be able to get into that space and only experience it once every week for a little period of time. And if I had done some of these things like meditation, exercise, and all of that back then, I would be way further ahead than I am now. And I wouldn't have had to go through a lot of that torturesome pain and frustration. So that's it for this video. I just wanted to tell you why I meditate and why you should too. You know, if you want to be a better human, then you should meditate. Seriously, it will really change your life. And I gave you some good arguments for why. I don't see any good arguments for why not. So it's one of those things that you should do. And I also told you how to get into the zone and how to really know if you're in it or out of it, and how to optimize the ingredients and the variables and the inputs in your life that are going to really create an output of focus and getting into the zone. So that's it for this video. And if you liked it, just click that like button, and also leave me something in the comments. Let me know what you thought, and let me know if you found this helpful. And also click the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. I release a video like this once a week, every week, as well as customer interviews and other resources. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one soon.